What is up, guys and girls? I am Virtual Pix, and welcome to whatever this is. It's an ADD test. I already have ADHD, like I'm actually fully diagnosed with it and everything, so I expect to fail this test horribly. It's gonna be an enjoyment time. Enjoyment time? Yes, because English. Reasons and stuff. Now, a few things I have to say, aside from saying that I do actually have ADHD. If you like the sounds that are going on in the background, which will be playing throughout this video, except for my outro track, because that's always in the description anyway, the extra sounds will actually be in the description, so check them out. And also thank you to NCS, I believe it is. I've got it up on my tabs and your brain's not engaging, but yes, NCS, thank you to them for actually being the source in which they were gotten from. So that was actually due to a comment that was originally got shoved into the spam filter for my comments. Just goes to show, if you're a YouTuber, check those spam comments, because sometimes they actually contain something useful. You never know. Anyway, I think it's about time to move on with this and fail ever so horribly. What makes ADHD a disability? Nothing. It's only a disability if you allow it. And this is coming from someone who actually has it, so I should probably actually. Do you know what? 1 second. 1 second while I just did that. We're just gonna make the window ever so slightly bigger in mid-recording because I like to be a pain to myself. Holy Jesus, it's gotten even bigger. Okay, let's start the quiz. Put attention to detail. I often make small mistakes in work, skim read, tend to rush things, mess up dates, get numbers wrong, or fail to notice typos. I often overlook details in filling out forms or forget to add attachments to emails. I tend to make simple errors because I'm not paying attention. Now this one's a weird one for me because I do and don't have poor attention to detail. I do all of those things, like I do all of those things frequently, but my attention to detail otherwise is actually amazingly good because I'm also diagnosed autistic, so they kind of clash. Sometimes I have absolutely on things like that I have absolutely fucking terrible attention to detail, but for completely useless things, completely mundane things I don't need to know, my brain just absorbs all of that useless information throughout the day. When it comes to things like that, I have amazing attention to detail, so I'm gonna put yes on that because all of the things there I do actually do. I'm easily distracted. I find it difficult to stick with longer tasks, even leisure activities. I may go off to do something else, or I end up doing several things at once. Struggle to follow through on complex tasks. Short deadlines work best for me. Yeah, I'm gonna say that yeah, that's definitely 100% me. If I get bored of something, and trust me, it doesn't take a lot for me to get bored of something, but if I do, I'm off. I'm gone. I'll be off with the fairies and all sorts. I mean, just look at my videos. Like, there's many of my videos where I just trail off onto my own little thing. So, yeah, definitely that. Poor listener. I'm easily distracted during long conversations. I tend to tune out, or I may be looking right at someone but I'm lost in thought. My mind often wanders. I often miss what's being said, so I have to ask people to repeat themselves. Sometimes I even lose track of what I'm saying, or I go off on tangents. Yes and no. See, I do this one, but this one's kind of an art form almost. I've perfected this in such a way that I can hold conversations with people and be off in my own thoughts at the same time. Fortunately, I'm amazing at multitasking, which is just a born ability. It's like I was born with the ability to multitask like a god for some reason. So holding multiple conversations at once on different topics and being off in my own thoughts is just a day-to-day thing for me. I do it all the time. Like, if I'm talking to someone, chances are I will be 100% listening to you, but I'll also be 100% focusing my mind, because I can give that 200%. My mind can do that. It's fucking amazing. It's actually really fucking handy. So yes, I do that, but it doesn't mean I'm a poor listener. Again, it's kind of an art. It is what you make of it, and that's probably where this is going to alter a little bit, because I don't see this as a disorder, because where I lived with it all my life, I've kind of throughout my life found ways of either going around the problem or changing it to being a disadvantage into an advantage. So, you know, if you have this, then maybe some of the things I do might even help you, hopefully. Don't follow instructions. I prefer to jump right in rather than reading instructions, guides, or recipes. I don't have regular routines at work or home. I struggle with schedules or plans. I'm not being obstinate, I just want to do, I know what I want to do and I just can't seem to do it. I do and don't agree with this one. This is a hard one for me, because I don't follow instructions. Like, if I get something from IKEA, I look at those instructions and gone. I don't even bother with them. I have never, ever looked at the instructions for flat pack furniture before building the flat pack furniture. I always build it and then look at it and be like, well, it's not how I did it, but it looks the same as it does on the fucking cover, so YOLO. And I just kind of figure it out as I go along. Then again, it's probably what makes me so resourceful at times, actually. Struggling with schedules or plans? No, actually. I prefer scheduled and routine. I like having routine. If I don't have routine, I feel lost. So I don't agree with this one. The being obstinate and just can't, I know what to do, just can't seem to do it. I don't even know where to start with that one. That one makes no sense to me. So, because this is the only one that I really do, I'm gonna go with no on that one. But again, that might be because I have, well, I've just kind of innately got ways of coping with it, which kind of feels good, actually. Although I don't really notice it half the time. Ah, something in my eye. Fuck off! Get out my eyeball! Trouble organising my work schedule, social life, and family obligations. I create long to-do lists and then find them overwhelming. Plan big project feels daunting, and I procrastinate because I can't see where to start or figure out what I need. Sorry, I'm just looking at my desk and the organised chaos that it is. Yeah, I'd say I'm a pretty disorganised person. Even though, again, this is something that I've turned to my advantage. My sheer disorganisation, to me, is actually organised. Although, to everyone else, it probably seems like a freaking chaos masterpiece. So, again, it is what you make of it. Avoid tasks that require sustained mental effort. Struggle to finish things that demand a lot of focus for a long period of time. Other times I get in the zone and hyper-focus. I avoid routine tasks, feel monotonous, repetitive or boring. When faced with big important tasks, I do a bunch of trivial chores instead. I hate paperwork. Now this one's poorly worded, because this is kind of a bit of a weird one, because I do struggle to keep my focus on things. Actually keeping my focus on one set task is freaking impossible for me to do unless I hit that hyper-focus mindset. If I hit that hyper-focus mindset, Oh my good fucking god. Not even the heavens above can stop me. If I hit that hyper-focus mark, woo, you do not want to get in my way, because it doesn't matter if you could stand right in front of me and I will just go around you like you're not even there. And I won't even think, like, it won't even occur to me that there's a person there. I will just, like, there. And then I'll just carry on. And the thing is I don't do it on purpose. Like, if I get into that hyper-focus zone, I will actually ignore people, and I don't even do it intentionally. My brain just completely fails to realise that there's a world around me. So yeah, I do the whole hyper-focus things. I avoid routine tasks that feel monotonous. No, quite frankly put, that's not true. I'm a YouTuber. I love editing. I mean, I really enjoy it, but oh my good god, can it be monotonous and repetitive at times. Like, especially for those videos where there's like little effects and stuff or something that I'll do, and you would not believe the amount of work and how monotonous they can get sometimes. I believe there's one video in particular, one of my Subnautica videos, where I had it actually playing some Hailstorm soundtracks while I was in Sally, I believe it was. It was either Cassie or Sally, one of the two. And I actually had it so that when I got out of Sally, it sounded like the music was still playing inside Sally. For that entire section, the reason I didn't do it for the whole video is because it took me an hour and a half to do just one section of it. Because I had to cut it up and edit it, or edit the sound files in such a way that each one had to be done manually. And oh, that was monotonous as fuck. But yes, I do hate paperwork. And I will choose to do a bunch of trivial things instead of one important task at times. However, I am actually quite good at prioritising, which means even if something is of a particularly high importance, I will do it. But it has to reach that particularly high importance in the first place, and if it doesn't, trivial things below it kind of get reversed. So yeah, you know, I'm gonna half agree on that one, but we're gonna click yes because there's no half agree button. I often lose things I need. Oh, all the fucking time. I often misplace things like my phone, keys, TV remote. Just had it a minute ago. I often lose important paperwork. I cannot find something I just bought. My home and workspace is cluttered, piles everywhere, and I have to be. Things have to be out where I can see them, while as I worry that I'll forget about them. Yes. I am always losing important paperwork and God knows what else. My desk isn't a testament to organize. It is basically a shrine to organized chaos. I actually have one of those Blu-ray surround sound systems that doesn't have the remote anymore, because I know it's here somewhere. I just don't know where. But it's in this room somewhere. At least I think it is. At least I hope it is. I'll find it one day. I'll probably tell you guys, now that I mentioned it, I'll probably tell you guys when I found it as well. Which, don't hold your breath, because I may actually never find that. And keys, no. Phone, no, because my phone I keep it in two very particular places. Although occasionally I have been known to have left my phone in other places, and I have actually walked out of shops. I've actually been paying for things, put my card in the machine, and I've like walked out of the shop and just left my card in the machine completely. And then I come back and it's like, can I have the card back, please? So yeah, that's definitely a yes. Oh, I didn't, shit. Didn't even click the yes button. Easily distracted. Easily distracted by conversations, noises, or activities happening around me. Often lost in thought, my mind will be far away, imagining interesting ideas, situations, or conversations. I'm pretty smart, but I'm a bit absent-minded. I've been called a daydreamer. A daydreamer, I've never been called that. I've been called an airhead. I've been called an airhead a lot, until people realise that the brain in here is actually full of a lot of fucking useless information, including the fact that I completely 100% understand quantum physics. Like, it just comes naturally to me. I can read a quantum physics book and yeah, that makes sense. And it doesn't even faze me. And then I'll go off and I'll be doing something else, and I'll just, like, I've had people look at me that they've seen me do something that actually requires me to be incredibly smart, and then I've gone off and done something, and I have done, like, something that you would expect a stereotypical blonde to do, and then I'll be like, oh shit, why did I do that? But yeah, yeah, my mind often runs away of me, and noises, well, I'm always looking out my window and stuff, because, like, even just people passing by, and my brain's like, ooh, interesting thing happening. So yeah, that's something that I do. Forgetful. Oh, don't even get me started. I often lose track of what I'm supposed to be doing, or I've already done. I forget to pack things, sometimes I have to go back, bad with names, forget appointments or promises. When I'm alone, I talk out loud to myself to stay on track. I have sticky notes everywhere. I bought things and realised that I already own one. Okay, I bought things and then realised I already own one. I've never actually done that. Sticky notes everywhere, never done that either. Talking out loud to myself, I don't do it to stay on track, I just talk out loud to myself anyway. Although I'm beginning to think that might actually just be a YouTuber trait, because it's actually gotten worse since I started doing YouTubing than previous, and I used to talk to myself quite a bit anyway. But I'm pretty sure I have a slight OCD factor in me somewhere. Forget appointments, yes. Promises, no. I'm actually very, very strict with myself on promises. Appointments, not so much. I forget to pack something, yeah. There are so many times where I've gone down to visit my mum or something for the weekend, and then I'll come back and I'm like, ah, shit, I left that behind. And then I have to go like 3 or 4 weeks without something, so I can go and pick it up again. Often lose track of what I'm supposed to be doing or what I've already done. Yes, definitely. So we're gonna click yes on that one, because I do most of those things. Hi. Okay. I got an 8 out of 9. Oh, and I will score 5 or higher suggests inattention is a problem for you. No shit, Sherlock. Oh, let's go on to the hyperactivity part. This is going to be fun as I take a swig of something. The hyperactive person really shouldn't be drinking. Anyway. You probably don't bounce around like a hyperactive child, but perhaps you often feel restless, driven, like there's a dynamo inside you. You may be impatient, on the go, thoughts race, sometimes tumbling, ricocheting, as you pour out one idea after another. May crave excitement or try new things, or love highly stimulating activities with big payoff. Yeah, that pretty much sounds like me to a T. Like, one of my things with the whole Englishing thing, itchy notes. The whole Englishing thing with me, like especially when I'm reading something, you'll notice that I fuck up sentences quite a lot. It's often because my mind is often miles ahead of the sentence to what my mouth can actually spit out fast enough, because obviously sound only travels at a certain speed. My mind literally can process things faster than my mouth can say it. So I'll be like halfway down the page already, and my mouth's all under at the top of the page still, and I'm just like, and somewhere in between, my brain's just like, should probably let that part of me catch up. So that's when the Englishing happens, because it gets overwhelmed. My mouth gets overwhelmed with all the signals. It's like, physically restless, fidgety. Grow fidgety during maintenance classes or church. Don't go to church. It's actually a good reason for that most of the time. I've only ever not been banned from one church. Funny story. Basically, any church I go into, I always end up right. It can be the middle. This has actually happened as well. It can be a freaking blizzard snowstorm outside. I will be in that church and I will be sweating buckets. As you can imagine, that often gets me kicked out for being a devil child. So yeah, that's a fun trait. Fidgety, fidget with keys, bracelets, coins, and pens. Twirl my hair, doodle. These things help me focus and listen. I tap my foot, bounce my leg, my pent-up energy. Constantly shifting in my seat, rocking, tilting my chair way back, and then thinking. Well, when I'm thinking. Where to even start with this one? A lot of people, like, if you actually watch many of my videos, you'll notice that the face cam, part of the reason I have the face cam is because, to be honest, to me it's actually kind of hilarious how energetic and how motion based I am. I am always fucking moving. Like, there is very few times in where I will actually sit still for any length of time, because that for me is physically, like, it actually hurts inside. I literally, if I sit still for too long, I start feeling really uncomfortable, like my chest is gonna explode or something. So I have to always be moving. I'm always moving at least some part of me, because if I don't, yeah. It gets worse and it gets worse and worse, and then eventually I just lose track and I just get to a point where it's like, no, I have to move, and then I just go and move. It's probably another reason why I don't do well in churches, because I've been in churches for well, actually there was one church where fortunately the priest there, the father, I guess I should call them, I'm not a religious person, by the way, but the father there, he found my sweating in the middle of the church when it's freezing cold outside to be actually quite funny. So, at least he had a sense of humour. Admittedly, it was one of the younger ones, so I guess that makes sense, but during the one service that was going on, I got so pent up, I just stood up in the middle of the service. So I was like, I hope you don't mind, but I'm just gonna walk a hole into your aisle, because I'm still listening. Just if I don't move, I'm gonna go off like a freaking rocket. And yeah, that was a very awkward time. Especially considering the person I was with got very, very embarrassed. But yeah, that was interesting. So yes, definitely so. And if I drink these, you'll notice that my energy goes off the freaking charts. It's unbelievable. So actually, funny enough, one of my running jokes is that I don't ever need to take speed, as in the drug, because I just drink a Monster and it has exactly the same fucking effect on me, only Monster's legal and speed isn't. As I've actually met people who have been on speed, and even they don't have as much energy as me when I'm on a Monster. Right, I actually knew someone who did that, and it was their idea, but they wanted to test the theory out whether I actually did have more energy. It turns out I do. Not only did I have more energy than them, I outlasted them about twice the energy levels. Like, they were just like, holy shitballs, how do you contain that much energy? I was like, I don't. It bleeds off of me, literally, because it has nowhere else to go. I often feel the need to get up and move. A place where I'm on the phone. I wish I could pace during meetings. I walk faster than others. I have to wait for them. I like to be in action on the move. When I'm required to sit and do something challenging for like financial paperwork, I need to take frequent breaks to shake off my agitation. Again, this ties back to the whole constantly forever in motion thing. It's something that I actually noticed whenever I'm on the phone. I have a particular route that I walk around in my flat, but I actually cannot be on the phone and sit down. You will never find, if I'm on the phone, you will never find me sitting and just talking. I will always be walking around and talking, and likely actually doing other things at the same time, because my body it can't stay still like that. I often walk faster than others, have to wait for them. Just ask anyone who's actually met me in person. Even by Londoner standards, and trust me, they walk fast, I am like a freaking missile. I walk enormously faster than anyone else, and if I'm ever actually with someone, although it's physically painful for me to actually walk that slow, because the agitation builds up to a point where it actually hurts, I do try to slow down. But anyone who knows me properly and who's known me for any amount of time actually knows that when they're walking by my side, they often actually have to remind me to slow down again, or ask me to slow down, because I unconsciously speed up. Which, funny story about that, actually, I actually have a very good friend who's got cerebral palsy, and he doesn't really but funny enough, he's actually one of the few people who doesn't have to remind me, because it's like my brain knows, and that whole conscious ability to speed up, or that unconscious thing of speeding up, just doesn't happen. So something goes on in there, I don't know what, but something happens. So yes, and the whole agitation thing, I've already reinforced that about 600 times over. In fact, I've already taken 27 minutes doing this. I thought this was only going to take 20 minutes. Hooray for going on rampant tangents. I'm impatient or agitated when things are quiet. I feel rushed, pressured, or driven, even when I'm doing something that isn't urgent. I have frequent job changes or move frequently. Not all of these may resonate with you, but answer yes if any of them do. The impatient and agitated when things are quiet, yes. If things get too quiet, I actually go into a state of feeling lost, and I don't really know what to do with myself. Feeling rushed, pressured, or driven even when I'm doing something that isn't. So, again, yes, I do get that. This one, not so much, and obviously that last one wasn't even a question, so yeah, we'll just click yes anyway, because that's apparently what it says. Difficulty enjoying leisure activities quietly. I'm just going to answer yes to that one. I'm not even going to start on that one. I don't do anything quietly. I am loud, and I know it. But, hey. Always on the go and driven. Again, this driven by a motor, that's a freaking understatement. I'm not driven by a motor. I must be driven by a freaking nuclear fission generator or something. Because there's something other than organs inside of me that is driving that energy out of me, because it's not normal, and it certainly ain't human-like. It's like, I literally the other day, well, not even the other day, I went to sleep last night after spending 3 days awake because my energy was just undying. I just didn't get tired, like, at all. It was stupid. I'm more of a sprinter than a marathoner. I have more stamina and enthusiasm than anyone else if it's something I find interesting. Driven in, I dive in whole hog, like a whirlwind dervish with tons of energy, but then suddenly crash. See, no, that bit isn't actually the case, nor is this bit. I have, not only do I have, well, one of the things, when I was actually diagnosed, they actually said that this is one of the things that's particularly unusual about me, is that I have the energy of a hyperactive person. Like, my energy levels are enormously high, but they're also unending. They just don't stop. Like, I can dive into something and just keep going and going and going and going, and I just never run out of energy. It's actually, and to put it in perspective, if I was to actually only sleep whenever I feel tired, I would only sleep every 3 to 4 days. And that's not because I physically run out of energy, it's because my body literally physically cannot keep up. Like, the human body is not designed to do that shit. And I have more energy than I am physically capable of exerting, which is at times actually kind of annoying, because even when my body's like, fucking go to sleep, we're hurting, we need to rest and regenerate and stuff, unlike your fucking never-ending power supply that runs you, and my brain's just like, it's fine, let's keep going. And even when I'm about to go to sleep, my brain's always on the go, it just never stops. It's ridiculous. And actually, it's one of the only things about ADHD that is still kind of... I said that I turned most of it around into advantage and disadvantage, from a disadvantage to an advantage for me, and that I have found coping mechanisms for a lot of these things. This is one that I haven't found a coping mechanism for, that my mind is always active to a point where it's actually kind of annoying at times, and then I kind of forget about it and carry on. So the forgetfulness part's actually kind of useful in a way. Not rude but talkative. Yeah, there you go. Blurting out. Again, see. Yeah, I'm full of ideas, mine jumps and races ahead, don't sit quietly and consider, but immediately offer my idea and opinion after another. See, this is something that I do, but I actually have a very good reason for doing it. One of the reason that I do it is actually because if I'm talking to someone about ideas and about something that, you know, would require ideas and stuff, and I'm actually in a conversation with someone, if I have an idea, I have to say it, because otherwise I'll forget it. And then sometimes the problem is that if it's something that I'm particularly interested in and I have an idea, anyone that knows me, they'll often let me say that. Like, if I just blurt out, they don't even care, they just let me blurt out the idea. And with some people this is worse than others, because some people it kind of ricochets off, where they expand on the idea and improve it, and then my mind, having raced ahead, kind of expands and improves on that, and then yeah, you can see where that goes. But I will also do that on my own quite happily. It's just a little bit of a slower pace, because rather than having two minds doing it, it's just mine. But even so, it's only a little slower. So yes, I don't even do it rudely as well. I will only ever blurt out an idea if I think it's actually something that's really worthwhile. If I don't think that it's 100% necessary, then I won't blurt it out. But if it's something that I really don't want to forget, I'll either write it down or I'll just say it there and then. Most of the time say it there and then, because I don't have something to write it down on hand. And when I say I'll forget it, like, the time in which it takes me to form the idea and then forget it is very small. As in, if I had a pen and paper on a desk, or on a table about 5 foot away from me. By the time I get to that table, I've forgotten half the idea. And that's what, 2, 3, maybe 4 steps at maximum. It's like insanely small. Waiting my turn is frustrating. No, actually. This is one of the ones I will disagree with because I like turn-based strategy games. And although if I have to wait too long it becomes frustrating, I think that's just a thing for most people. I mean, no one, if you're in a game or something, no one likes waiting like half an hour for their turn. But although, again, I can kind of resonate slightly with this one. Because I do not like queuing up. I don't just choose the queue that's the shortest. I often actually go, when I'm at the shops, I can actually just go to the self-checkouts because it's infinitely faster than the queues. Yeah, I will do that one. If I am actually forced to queue, I won't even actually queue up until I work out which of the cashiers is actually the faster one. So if I ever queue up, if I'm ever in a shop for any of you guys, and you see me, and I've queued up for you, that means you are fast enough for me to notice, and for me to want to take that route, because, yeah, so it's your time to shine. Can't stand people who speak slowly and small talk is painfully boring. Oh, by the way, I'm avoiding this traffic one because I don't drive. Long conversations don't bother me. In fact, 36 minutes. So we're going to have to get a bit of a move on with this. People who talk slowly, yes and no. I can talk to people who talk slowly, but it does annoy me inside a little bit, but I won't ever actually outwardly show that because, you know, courteous enough and polite enough to just bite it. It's one of those things that I know that it's a part of me that is there, so I recognise that and then I just ignore it. But yes, small talk is painfully boring. If someone asks me about the weather, I will literally turn to them and look at them like, you fucking what? Oh, don't. If anyone ever meets me, just more than welcome to say hello to me and actually like talk with me and stuff. Just don't small talk with me because I hate small talk. It's like, okay, if you're gonna small talk me while you figure out what you want to talk about, I'm just gonna initiate a conversation in place because, yeah, small talk is like, why? It's pointless. It's a waste of time, as far as I'm concerned. And I know that probably seems rather ignorant, but it's the truth. I don't understand why small talk even exists. It makes no sense to me. A friend who asked the waitress about every item on the menu makes me crazy. Now see, the problem is the sort of people who I get along with well enough that they actually become friends or something, that they're more than just an acquaintance, are often people who are batshit crazy or kind of like me in their own little way. So this like never happens. I hate waiting for other people to arrive. I can't just sit back and relax. Yes, definitely. I really hate waiting for other people to arrive. Like it feels like it takes literally forever for me. Like it can be like not even just 5 minutes, and it'll feel like it's taken all day. Interrupt, chime in, or introduce or intrude on other people's conversations. I feel the need to top someone's story, add your 2 cents. Always have an opinion or idea to share, and yes, they may well be great ideas. Yeah, see, if I'm totally honest, I can see where this one comes from, but like I said, I've learnt to bypass certain parts of this, and when I was younger, this is something that I used to do, but as I've grown up, I've learned how to not do it. And I've learned the reasons why, you know, that society doesn't just revolve around me. The way I think and the way I am needs to work in tandem with the rest of society in order for me to function properly. So, there are certain things where society kind of has to give way to me a little bit, and by that same token, there are certain things that I have to give way to society for you know, reasons and stuff, and this is one of them, because politeness, you know, being polite goes a long way, and interrupting or intruding on others' conversations, oh no, you don't want to be doing that. Like, people will think you were so rude, so I don't, and I will. Although sometimes, yes, it often leads to me not contributing to a conversation. See, some of the thing as well is that I'm actually quite introverted. I'm actually a very shy person. So this one isn't always particularly hard because I don't like being in the lead in a conversation. I don't really like being in the spotlight. In fact, I actually have terrible stage fright, which kind of helps balance it in its own little way. So I'm gonna go, no, it does happen inside of me. Like, I know that this is something that does occur in me, but it doesn't actually outwardly ever manifest. So, no. Well, then, what did I get for this? Oh, hello. We're scrolling up the page a little bit there. You have a hyperactivity and impulsive. Is 8 out of 9. The threshold is 5 again. Holy shit! I scored high. So I didn't fail it completely 100%. But close enough. I mean, you're not gonna really get much more than that. Fuck, 41 minutes that took me. Jeez. Anyway, I'm apparently very hyperactive and very impulsive. Who'd have thunk? Anyway, you all know now a little bit. You all now know a little bit more about me and the way I think and the way I act and stuff. So do with that what you will. I'm putting it up on the internet, so what do I give a shit? Anyway, that does it for this video. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, hit that like button. Stay awesome as always, and I will see you in the next video.